Where do you got to go today? What do you have to do? I was looking at Mark chapter 1 this morning, and in verse 35 through 39, it hits on the beginning of Jesus' ministry. And it said that he, in this particular town, healed many people that were sick and with various diseases. In verse 35, and it says he cast out many demons. And then it said the next morning he rose very early and departed to a desolate place, and there he prayed. And it says that Simon and those that were with him searched for him, for Jesus. They found Jesus, and they told him, they said, Jesus, look, everyone's been looking for you. And Jesus said to them, essentially, we must go to another town, and that is why I've been called. So let's look at this. You got Jesus. He's just done many miracles, healings, and he wakes up in the morning and he goes and talks with his Father in a quiet spot, in a desolate place. It says there he prayed. There he got his direction. There he got his marching orders for the day. And I think that, if that were my life, and at times when I see great things that God has done through my hands, I think, wow, I want to kind of continue in that pattern, continue in what he was doing. And that's not always the case. I think sometimes we follow the pattern versus, or we follow the works and the miracles and the great power that we get to see when we walk with God. We follow that instead of actually following God at times. Sometimes we get a bit distracted. I know at least I do. And, we think about these godly things that we should be doing, or these, tasks that are at hand, be it from the world, your job, or just things that you have, again, done in the past with God, and you've seen, him do some great things in you and through you. And, you look at Jesus, and he discarded all of that. He just went to his Father the next morning in a quiet place, spent time with him, and got his marching orders for that day. I would think that, if Jesus were living in our time, he wouldn't have picked up his cell phone and started looking at all his emails that he needed to reply to or respond to, saying, Jesus, thank you for healing my son, thank you for healing me, or any of those things. He wouldn't have been responding and firing text messages off, or looking at his tasks for the day, the things that, were on his calendar and planned. He would just wake up and just go with the Father. And I think that is so great for us to take and to look at and to actually put into practice in our life, because, there are so many great things that God desires to do through us, and there's places he wants us to go. But if we just hold on to what is comfortable and what worked yesterday, and what was profitable yesterday, or lean on our own understanding, we're going to miss some of the greatness that he desires to do through us. I think, what if Jesus would have stayed in that town and just continued to preach the gospel, continued to love people, and continued to bring deliverance to people? That would have been great. But what about the rest of his ministry? What about the other people that God needed to touch through Jesus? And so think about that today as, you go about your day. What's dictating your next move? Is it your past experiences? Is it pressures from the world? Is it predetermined plans, or just feelings? Let's let God dictate what we do today. Let's let God dictate where we go, because after all, we are his. We have chosen to follow Jesus Christ, and in choosing to follow Jesus Christ, you follow his ways, right? And his ways are after the Father's ways. So have a wonderful day. I love you. I'm excited for what God's got in store. Again, he's going to take you into the deep when you just hone in on what he wants to do. And a lot of times that's just being quiet. I have to believe when Jesus went off to that desolate place, he wasn't giving a laundry list of things that he would like to see, or even just a laundry list of things, rightfully so. I'm sure he was very thankful to see just in that prior night with all the healings that took place. But I have to believe that Jesus just sat there and was quiet and just listened to his dad. And so be encouraged by that through the Holy Spirit. God will speak to you today. He will speak to you tomorrow, and he's got great plans. Love you. God bless.